Coach, it was almost, I kind of think about how you ran into a buzzsaw last week. The one thing you'd mentioned that Hagerstown would probably be a little bit more upset after losing the week before, and with Jeremiah out, your offense probably struggled a little bit as well. Just one of those nights, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we did struggle offensively pretty much pretty much the whole night. So, and I really don't know that it was one kid being out. I think we didn't play very well offensively, and that's unfortunate because I thought we had an opportunity to at least maybe hang with them a little bit, and we just didn't do it.
Was it from the outset one of those games? Did you have a kind of a feeling early that it just wasn't going to be there?
Well, not really. I mean, it just kind of, I thought when the game started, I thought, we took the ball and, we didn't get very far on our first set, but, we had a nice change of field position on a punt, and, their first play, they get a penalty, get backed up, and then, on the next play, they're ripping off a touchdown run. So, from that standpoint, they hurt us early with some big plays. And, the Hicks kid's a good running back, and, they hit a couple of passes that turned into some long touchdowns. And, at that point we were playing from behind, and, I think it was 34-0 at halftime. We ended up getting beat 36-0. So, and really they didn't sub a whole lot till really late in the game. So, whatever we didn't do very well defensively in the first half, we played much better in the second half. But, the problem with that is there's two halves to the game, and both of them count. So, we'd been playing pretty well defensively. We did not play well offensively or defensively in the first half last week.
And certainly giving up those big plays early kind of set the tone a little bit, right?
Well, sure it does. I mean, anytime you got a team backed up and they get out of it with a big play, it's a little deflating, and it can be a little bit concerning, I guess. And they took advantage of some stuff, and and I'm not going to make excuses, but we did have some kids hurt, and we're going to have some kids hurt this week. And when you're not very deep, and you get starters that aren't playing in a game, it makes a difference. And hopefully we've had enough time to practice with some kids to get them up to speed a little bit better. And it's not that we don't have good kids, it's just that we don't have kids that are really ready to be varsity players yet.
Yeah, and I always call it a factor, because it is a factor when you don't have the Jeremiah Holders and guys like that in there. I mean, they're there for a reason.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jeremiah's earned a chance to be a football player and be a starter for us, and he put in his time as a freshman just like everybody else does, and he didn't play a whole lot until really his junior year, and and that's the nature of the beast sometimes in high school football. You got to wait for your turn and make sure we can't. It's hard to play a kid who's not ready, and that a lot of that just comes down to just aging and getting more physical and getting filled out, and having a chance to be in the program and be in the weight room and some of those things where you can kind of make yourself into a better athlete. It takes time. There's no shortcuts.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and if anybody doesn't think there's a difference between a kid that's 18 and a kid that's 15, just come out and see that, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a huge difference, and that's like anytime you step up to another level, whether it's from middle school to high school or high school to college, it's just like starting all over again. Everybody. I found out when I went to college, I thought I worked pretty hard in high school. I didn't work very hard at all. And playing against 22-year-old men when I was still an 18-year-old boy was tough. And it's the same thing with these kids as freshmen and sophomores. Sometimes they're still maturing and still growing and still, trying to figure out what they're going to be. And, sometimes they're playing against guys who already got it figured out.
Coach, you said that the injury situation might be the same, or at least a little bit this week. Is it going to be a huge factor again for you Friday?
Well, I think it could be, just from like I said, the standpoint of, we've got to move some people around a little bit and fill some positions. So that means somebody else has to jump into a position that they haven't necessarily practiced at all year until recently. So it is a factor somewhat, but that's what we've been trying to do this week, is get kids ready to be there. We got 2 or 3 kids that are starters, that are at least 2 for sure, that will be out for this game, and maybe a third depending on how he is today.
Before we talk about Knightstown, is the long-range plan then still, listen, if we can't play him now, we certainly want to have him tournament time, so you don't want to hurry him back too soon?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we're talking about, and two of the three kids are seniors, so you don't want to put them back in too soon and in their senior season. But at the same time, we want to, they want to play, we want them to play, but it's just a matter of making sure that when they do play, that it's not going to, cause any more injury or cause them to have to sit out longer, because we're hard to believe, but we're rapidly coming to a close to this high school season. So we want to get those kids in as much as we can, and nobody likes to sit out games, but it's especially hard when you're a senior.
Coach, a Knightstown football team, I had a chance to watch them a little bit up at Ball State, and big physical type team. They're right back in the race as well. It's a great opportunity again for you guys on Friday night to maybe spoil their championship hopes a little bit. Talk about what you see in them, and just again another big physical football team.
Well, and that's what we're seeing a lot of this this season. Centerville was big and strong, and Hagerstown was pretty good size, and most of the teams that we're playing right now are just big physical teams right now, and that's a lot of ground and pound stuff, and Knightstown is in that same mode. I mean, they've got kids that are big and physical on the line of scrimmage. A lot of those kids play both ways, but watching them, they don't lose anything from offense to defense. They're still active. They're still aggressive. They still play hard. So, and I don't know exactly how many, but, at least 5, 6, 7 kids are playing both ways for them, which is, if you're an athlete, you're an athlete. You want to be on the field. So, and they've got some pretty good athletes. They got a couple running backs that are pretty good. I don't really know about names, but number 22 runs the ball hard. I mean, he's hard to bring down with one guy, and you got to make sure you wrap him up and finish tackles with him. Their quarterback doesn't mind running the ball a little bit. He's pretty aggressive running the ball. He can throw it down the field some too. So we've got to be aware of both running and passing with them. I think we definitely want to stop the run game first. And we'll try to take care of the passing game but if you don't stop the run, it doesn't matter. So that's, they're, like I said, they're big and physical. They're not real fancy on offense, but, they get the job done.